stronger than ever mine. Look how I've grown, lifted in every endeavor. When I look back on all I've done, everything I've lost or won, it all fades into the glory of my never-ending story. Stronger than ever, no, never alone. Stronger than ever, I look how I've grown, lifted in every endeavor. Stronger than ever, no, never alone. Stronger than ever, I look how I've grown, lifted in every endeavor. Stronger than ever, stronger than ever, stronger than ever, stronger than ever, stronger than ever.
Thank you. The New Thought Messengers, everyone, with Angie Spinelli. Hello, thank you for being here. Thank you all for being here. Thank you for those of you online. Happy New Year. It's a new year. Yes. Oh, welcome, 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 welcome. I am so grateful to be with you all. I'm Shannon O'Hurley. I get to be your senior minister here in this beloved, extraordinary community that is here in Oregon and all over the world. What a blessing to be together this day. Let's all take a deep breath. Let's be here now. Let's be present here now. If you are joining us for the very first time, if you're new or you are newish, please know that we are an inclusive, progressive, and compassionate spiritual community that is dedicated to doing our work so that we can then walk it out into the world. We are committed to spirit-led social action and to being the love that we wish to see. I invite us all to take another deep breath as I acknowledge that right here we are on the land of the Kalapuya people, and we affirm indigenous history, experiences, and sovereignty. I would like to share with all of you here and those of you online our vision and our mission. John, would you be so kind? Our vision, recognizing our oneness, we envision a world that works for everyone and all creation, and our mission, providing spiritual tools for personal and global transformation. Oh, it is good to be here, yes? Yes. With that, I'm going to invite practitioner Shelley forward for our beautiful dedication of flowers and our opening blessing.
Thank you, Reverend Shannon. I have a very sweet story to tell you. Once upon a January 8th, in the faraway land of Williams, Arizona, was born Bonnie Dawn Duncan. And here, 74 birthdays later, her eyes still shine, her smile still glows, and her spirit still warms others. These flowers are to celebrate Bonnie. Keep it up, girl. You are so loved, Bonnie. Happy birthday, darling. What a great story, Michael, Susie, Bonnie, and a great love story of your family. This is our time for spiritual connection through music, through chanting. If you choose, you can move your body, you can lift your voice. We're singing a new song this month, one that many of you will recognize, and it's about surrender. And here's the thing about surrender. When we surrender, we're not surrendering to something outside of ourselves that's going to take something from us. We're surrendering to the infinite power within us, and surrender only makes us stronger. And so I invite you to join us. Stand as you choose, stand as you're able. Lift your voice and enter into this activity of the divine that is known as letting it go.
Serving
I'm now going to invite our beautiful practitioner, Bernalee Garland, up for a sacred reading.
Thank you, Shelley. Good morning. This reading is an excerpt from 365, A Year of Daily Wisdom from Ernest Holmes. It's from today, January 8th. He writes, "We should believe that God is the invisible partner in our lives and affirm that divine love goes before us and always prepares our way. We should permit ourselves to be guided, for there is something within us, deep, at the center of our being, which knows what we ought to do and how we ought to do it. So, I know how to meet every situation in calm trust and with complete conviction that divine intelligence is guiding me. The same intelligence that governs the planets in their course is now acting as a law of good in my life, in my personal experience, and in the experiences of everyone around me. I place my life entirely and completely under the protection and guidance of this power, and so it is. Blessed be. Amen."
Thank you so much, Practitioner Bernalee. And now I am absolutely thrilled to invite our music director, Brian Harris, to the platform for a song.
Thank you, Shelley. Happy New Year.
Y'all might want to dance.
Running around fixing this and that, giving it up to God and then taking it back. Just release and let it go. You don't even have to think about it no more. Get out of the way. Get out of the way. Get out of the way and let God do its thing. You look like the weight of the world's on your back. You take a deep breath and cut yourself some slack. All that drama ain't good for you. You couldn't change what is if you wanted to. Get out of the way. Get out of the way. Get out of the way. Get out of the way and let God do its thing. Angie, do your thing. Come on, Adrian. The sun's gonna shine, the river's gonna flow, the tide's gonna rise without your say-so. The universe is working and good is flowing. You don't plant a seed and then dig it up to see if it's growing. Get out of the way. 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 Get out of the way and let God do its thing. Come on now. Get out of the way. 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 Get out of the way and let God do its thing.
Thank you, Brian Harris and the New Thought Messengers with Shelley Walker and Faith Walker. Oh, get out of the way. We're going to talk about that today. So, again, Happy New Year. Happy, beloved, blessed, grace-filled, glorious, joy-filled New Year to all of you here and all of you at home. I want to take a moment and thank Rev Barb for her beautiful service last Sunday. Wasn't that lovely? Yeah. So, the Buddha said, "What you think, you become." In the Hebrew Bible in Proverbs 23:7, "You are what you think." The transcendentalist Ralph Waldo Emerson wrote, "You become what you think about." And Ernest Holmes, considered to be the synthesizer of this beautiful new thought teaching of ours, said, "Change your thinking, change your life." This was, of course, made very famous by Wayne Dyer, who even wrote a whole book about how that connects to the ancient wisdom of Tao, of the Tao. Now, none of them were talking about the random thoughts that we humans can have. That's just a normal part of being human. We're all human, yes? Okay, just clarifying. But rather the connected thoughts are continual thoughts or thought patterns that exist within each one of us. And so just like in the ancient mystical teachings across the millennia and our metaphysical philosophy here in New Thought, we understand that life is lived from the inside out. Everything in our world would like you to see it the opposite, that it's fix the outside, and then all will be well. Anyone? New Year's resolutions? Anybody? Yes? We understand, we teach that the truth, the spiritual highest truth, is that we live from the inside out, that what is occurring on the inside of us is reflected on the outside. Therefore, it behooves us to fearlessly excavate our innards. And what better time to do that than New Year's, this time of year? And I understand that there is sort of like a camp over here of sort of diehard New Year resolutionists. And then over here on the opposite side of the spectrum, we have the, I will not do New Year, new me. I will do New Year's, same me, and I will tiptoe gently into considering maybe some things I might want to shift. And then we have the camp in the middle. It's a little bit of this, and a little bit of that, and a lot of this. So I get it. I understand. And I want to kind of bring all of this together for us so that we can create some beautifully aligned structure for ourselves. Yes? Does that sound good? So, again, what you think, you become. You are what you think. You become what you think about. Change your thinking, change your life. What you think, you become. You are what you think. You become what you think about. Change your thinking, change your life. The title of my talk today is Releasing Expectations That Hold Us Back, Freedom in the New Year. Freedom in the new year. Again, freedom, our life, starts inside. Folks ask me all the time, how do I change this fill in the blank, Rev Shannon? I want to bring this fill in the blank into my life. I keep trying, but it's not working. And what I notice often is that they may be doing all the work on the outside, all the outside things, creating the outside structure without fearlessly excavating their innards and seeing where it is they might be unintentionally and usually unconsciously sabotaging their intention or their New Year's resolution, whatever that may be for them. They have set very high expectations for what they want, but their intention, whether it's for New Year or not, doesn't come to fruition. And they become so disappointed, which causes a whole new set of issues. Anybody relate Can anyone? Just me? Can anybody? Okay. Yeah. We humans do that, don't we? We set these very high expectations for ourselves in relationships, in career, in creative expression, all of that. In the 12-step communities, there is a saying, expectations are premeditated disappointments. Isn't that brilliant? Expectations are premeditated disappointments. So often we have glued ourselves to whatever that expectation is for whatever that thing is. And I know that this can be tricky. I get it. You know, it's part of life. We have certain expectations about how a vacation is going to go, or how the holidays are going to be, or how our relationship is supposed to look. The way to go about life successfully is to acknowledge that of course, we are going to have our human expectations. But the key comes from the Buddhist tradition. The key is to have the normal expectations in life and remain unattached, not to be confused with detached. When I first started studying Buddhism, I thought for the longest time that Buddhism was kind of mean. I really did. Because I thought, well, they're just detached from everything. No. It's unattached. So what we would say in our metaphysical New Thought teaching is the way that I like to explain it and teach it and live it in my own life. The concept of remaining unattached is to create room for spirit. My prayer, my constant prayer is, God, give me the strength to get out of my own way so that spirit may move through me. Each one of us is here to be a channel of the divine in whatever way, whether it's through parenting, whether it's through showing up in your community, whether it's through being a good neighbor, whatever that may be. We think we are attached to something the way it must look. However, God, Spirit, Source, whatever word works for you, has such a bigger, better, more divine idea that is for the highest good of all. We might not even see it in the moment, but it's for the highest good of all. If we can create room for that, if we can get out of our own way, our bloated nothingness, as Emerson said. So, this idea of remaining unattached to the outcome is tricky. Herein lies the rub. It is a lifelong spiritual practice, I am here to tell you, so be gentle with yourselves as I proceed. So, the way to experience freedom, and really, when you get down to it, when you whittle it down, what we humans really want is freedom. We want the inner freedom to know our worth. We want the inner freedom to be happy, to experience joy, to experience love, to experience each other. We want that freedom. The key, the Buddhists teach, is in order for that to happen, we must mind our mind. We must mind our mind. And you know, in January, there are centers for spiritual livings all over the country and in the world that spend the month of January sort of doing what they call going back to the basics. So I'm bringing in one of these main basic tenets of our teaching about being aware of our inner life, of our thinking, of our mind. And what I can tell you is that when we mind our mind, which is easier said than done, I understand, our life changes moment by moment, breath by breath. So it was Christmas Eve morning, just this past Christmas Eve, 5:30 a.m. My husband David, our oldest daughter Livia visiting from Wyoming, and our little dog Malachi. We are getting ready to go to the airport. I get into the lift, and I kid you not. I am sitting there in the lift, trying to wake up. It's 5:30 in the morning. I look, I think I'm seeing a mirage. It is actually an entire interfaith altar, like glued to the top of the dashboard of the lift. of the car. I'm sitting there like, is this really, wait, what am I seeing? Is this true? There's the Buddha, there's Jesus, there's Kuan Yin, there's Mary, there's the angels, there's Lakshmi. There's even a little mini Tibetan prayer flag tied to the visor of the lift. I know that I am in for a ride. I absolutely knew, okay, this is a sign, and I am being guided, because here is what happened. We spent 11 hours at the airport on Christmas Eve trying to get to California. Flight after flight after flight after flight was canceled. And I had such an opportunity. Oh my. So many teachers for me in that airport. It was hilarious. I was sitting there and I knew at about hour 6, I was like, oh, okay, God. Really, this is my New Year's sermon. Okay. And then I got it. So here's the thing. After 3 hours standing in line, I finally get up to the gate agent. My husband is here with our little dog, Malachi. And, you know, everyone sort of camps out in airports when you have like your staked out space. You know how that is? Like there's a group playing cards over here, and these guys are just all, you know, having Burgerville. And, you know, this group has long gone over to the bar to numb everything out because they're just done with it. And, you know, it's just like, it's an observation in human behavior and spiritual growth. So I get up to the gate counter, and this woman just looks at me, and she's just like a deer in the headlights. And I can see from her eyes, she literally looked at me like, please be nice. And so I could see her little hands were shaking. And I looked at her and I said, I just want to start by thanking you. And she just welled up with tears. She's like, okay, where are you going? I'm going to help you. Now, keep in mind, the gentleman, the other gate agent on the other side of the counter, is so pissy and mean and mad and tired and probably hungry, and had said to all the customers, I heard him say, I've been here since 3 o'clock in the morning, don't give me a hard time. Allison, however, was like, how can I help you? How can I help you? Right off the bat, wow, thanks, B, look at that. Yay, I got Allison. So we're making friends. She's helping me. I'm telling you, we booked a flight from Palm Springs. We got on Palm Springs. We'll rent a car. David's right here. He's Googling. There's no more rental cars in Palm Springs. Forget Palm Springs. We get one in Oakland. We got one in Oakland. She's ready to print out the ticket. That was canceled. I mean, it was unreal. I travel all the time. I love to travel. I travel domestically all the time, as many of you know. I travel internationally several times a year. It's part of my spiritual practice. I have never in my life seen anything like this. I don't know if any of you saw the news. I've never seen anything like it in my life. So I thought, well, okay, I'm clearly here for a purpose. I am clearly here for a purpose. So Allison she's trying San Jose. She's trying all the different places in California to try to get us to our destination in Los Angeles to be with our loved ones. And right in the middle of it, this couple comes over, so kind. Clearly they had been crying. They come over to her and they'd say, excuse me, which was, fine. Meanwhile, just so you know, right before they came up, she looked at me and she said, there's 200 people behind you. Just so you have a sense of it. And I'm like blessing them from the back of me. So this couple comes up and he's like, I'm so sorry. They had bought Allison a water bottle that had an image of the world map on it, and there was a card that had her name on it. And they just said, we just have to give this to you. Clearly they were there hours before we were, and we were there at 5:30 in the morning, so maybe they were there the night before, I don't know. They came up and said, thank you so much. And the man was fighting back tears. Allison got up, they hugged. These are two strangers at the airport. They actually took time out of this unbelievable kerfuffle, and they went and they bought her a gift for her kindness at helping them. So she says to me, I hope that I can do the same for you. Because I said, oh my gosh, see, there's so much good in the world. There's so much good in the world. She said, okay, there's so much good in the world. There's so much good in the world. Let's get you to San Jose. Okay. So there's nothing at all that day. So she says, I can get you on a plane at 7 o'clock in the morning. I'm like, I'll take it. Christmas morning, I'll take it. She said, but in the meantime, you might try Southwest. They seem to have a couple of flights. It's about 4 o'clock in the afternoon by now, and I went, oh, okay. Thank you for the 7 o'clock flight. Both David and I are on that. That'll be fine. Livy was going back home to her family in Wyoming. We were getting that all situated. I say to my husband, honey, let's go to the other side of the airport and try to get on some planes at Southwest. So we're walking, and I'm booking all the flights, just all the flights. Book, let's just get home. So we get to the Southwest terminal, and all those flights were canceled hour after hour after hour after hour. So we go home, and then we come back 6 o'clock in the morning. Again, for our flight, we're checked in, we're ready to go, it's canceled. So we go back to the Southwest terminal because they have so many flights available. So there we are, camped out, second day at the airport. We got the dog, we got all the things, we got the food, there's all the people doing their things, there's the people at the bar, all the same characters are in place. At about hour 5, Christmas Day, about hour 5, this mom, I hear her going, come on, honey, let's just do this. She's in the middle of, the walkway where there's like the gates here. She's just in the middle of the whole thing. And she got a little stuffed animal, and she's playing catch with her little 5-year-old, maybe 5 or 6 boy. And she is FaceTiming her wife, and they are playing catch with him in the airport. I'm sitting there, and I'm thinking, and she is, of course, disappointed, of course, sad. And she is making the best of it. She is FaceTiming her wife while she plays fetch with this. And she says, well, he's had 4 hours of screen time, so we have to do something. And I'm thinking to myself, oh, there is so much God in that. There is so much God in that. And then the woman behind me, who could have won the Olympic gold medal for complaining, missed it entirely and just started complaining even more angrily. And it was incredible what that was happening. So I'm sitting there, and I'm just sending her love, and she's getting louder and louder. And so the cheerleader over here is getting louder and louder. Come on, honey, come on. It's like this battle of wills, And then I notice that there is a young girl, maybe 14, in the aisle right in front of me in a chair with her little brother. His name is August. I hear that in their conversation. He's about 8 or 9. And the whole time, this young girl has been so good with him. She has made sure that he had snacks, but not too much sugar. She's been reading to him. They've been playing games. She's been so mindful and so loving with him. And finally, about 3 hours later, so we're now into the evening, little August just stands up, and he has these little glasses. He's just the cutest thing. You can't even believe it. He gets up and he says, that's it. I'm leaving. And he takes his backpack, and he starts leaving. And she's like, oh. And she's got all the things all spread out. And I said, oh, it's okay, honey. You go get him. Go get him. I'll watch all this. So she goes, and she gets him, and she brings him back, and she sits down. And I can see that she's just absolutely exhausted. And he's having a meltdown, and she's trying not to have a meltdown. She's young herself. So I wait a moment. God nudges me, Spirit nudges me. You know how love does that inside of us? And I just come over to her, and I sit down next to her, and I said, sweet. And we've been there for hours. She's like met the dog, the whole thing. I come over, and I sit down, and I said, honey, I'm a mom, just so you know. And I want you to know you're not alone in this. I'm here for you if you need anything. Do you need anything? Can I support you? How can I support you? And she just kind of took a deep breath, and she's like, oh, it's okay, it's okay. I said, all right, I'm happy to talk to your parents if you want me to, or support you in any way. If this flight gets canceled, you might need a ride. I'm here, I'm safe, it's really okay. I'm happy to talk to your parent. And she goes, okay, thank you. And I said, by the way, my name is Shannon. And she teared up immediately, and she goes, my mom is named Shannon. I said, oh, okay, see, it's a sign, it's a good thing. And she goes, I'm going to call her. I'm going to call my mom right now. I said, okay. So she called her mom, Shannon, and like 5 minutes later, they were packing up to leave. Clearly, it was a situation of maybe it was a 2-family household, and she was trying to get her little brother to the other family, to the other household, and it wasn't working. And so they left, and I thought to myself, connection, look at that. Look at that, I could have missed that. How many times do we get a nudge to speak to someone, to say something, and we don't? You know, we don't want to invade their space. You know, I was so grateful in that moment that I had the courage to say, hey, sweetie, I'm Shannon, you know, can we talk? My experience at that airport was for the books. It was for the books. The last several hours, we were simply waiting for them to find a flight attendant somewhere in Oregon to wake them up in the hotel. They said this, by the way. We're trying to find, sorry everyone, I know this is really bananas. We're trying to find a flight attendant. We're calling all the hotels and trying to wake them up. We understand if you don't want to stay. It didn't happen. So we ended up getting back in a lift, going back here, coming back here, and having Thai takeout, a very late Thai takeout for Christmas dinner. And I had started in December working my way through this beautiful book, 365, A Year of Daily Wisdom from Ernest Holmes. In it, there are quotes from the Bhagavad Gita and Ralph Waldo Emerson and Proverbs and the Christian and Hebrew Bible, all kinds of really cool things in this book. And what I want you to hear, having just shared with you that experience. So hold that over here, and now I want to reread what Bernalee shared with you earlier. Ernest Holmes wrote, and it's for today. We should believe that God is the invisible partner in our lives and affirm that divine love goes before us and prepares the way. We should permit ourselves to be guided, for there is something within us deep at the center of our being which knows what we ought to do and how we ought to do it. I know how to meet every situation in calm trust and with the complete conviction that divine intelligence is guiding me. The same intelligence, he writes, that governs the planets in their course is now acting as a law of good in my personal experience and in the experiences of everyone around me. It's so easy to hear something like that when you're not at your 15th hour in the airport. Yes? We should believe that God, spirit, source, quantum consciousness, energy, the universe, whatever word you like, is the invisible partner in our lives, and affirm that divine love goes before us and prepares the way we should permit ourselves to be guided. So connecting this to the idea of expectations, how does that fit? When we have expectations of how we want something to happen, how we want something to be, and it doesn't happen, how can we then say that that experience is being guided by the divine? How does that work? Faith. The faith that there is something greater at work on the behalf of the good of all. There are things that I don't even know and will not know until I leave this earthly plane of why in the heck that happened. But I trust and know that as hard as that was, as challenging as that was, for not only me, really, because 20 years ago, I would have been on the floor having a temper tantrum. Let's be clear. You know, the dashboard was guiding me, the lift, yes? This is a spiritual, there's God in this here for me, for all of us, somewhere in this. And the invitation is, how am I to show up in this kerfuffle? How? So, of course, every single person in that airport had the expectation that they would be traveling for the holidays. Every single one of them had planned to be with loved ones or to take a break from work, whatever it was. All had placed for themselves expectations on how this was going to look. So how do we have the normal expectation of something without being attached to it, especially something like Christmas? Again, it is to be non-attached. What we think, we become. Dr. Rick Hanson is the author of The Buddha's Brain, and he talks about the idea that our untrained mind or brain is wired for negative thoughts because thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands of years ago, we were prey. We were prey. We had to be very careful of the next lion or tiger or snake attack. We were fighting for our next meal and wanted to be sure that we weren't the next meal for some creature, right? And so we had this reptilian brain of survival. And my friends, the thing is we see that rear its ugly head in situations like this for some. Are you following me? You can see that reptilian brain. I saw it. Because the thing is that right now we are living in this time of human evolution where we are moving out of that low vibration, that low reptilian brain vibration, and into a higher one of love and trust. This is why we are all gathered here, all of us, to begin to live a life in a higher vibration than that. Something that we species over millennia have been learning. We've been learning, all of us. And as a side note, I just want to say this is why when so many of us witness other human beings acting out in that low vibration, that old idea of the dog-eat-dog world, the old idea of the lie of survival of the fittest, it can feel so jarring. It can feel so painful to our sensibility. On the macro level, this ideology is prevalent in the white supremacy hate groups and in the folks who are climate deniers because they are receiving profits from their businesses which hurt our planet, yes? This is the macro of the reptilian brain in action. And because they clash with our sensibility so harshly, we have an opportunity to recognize in those moments, just like the woman behind me who was complaining so loudly. They are here to illustrate for all of us that we no longer want or choose to operate from that low vibration. So on the micro or the much, 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 much smaller level, we see this out picture in many places, yes? Some of us are seeing this out picture in our families, in our communities, in our workplaces. When we find even ourselves thrown in situations that we did not expect. Now, we all experience disappointment. That's a given. When the idea we have in our mind or the expectation doesn't happen, that is totally normal. So I want to give us all a tool. I want to support you in this for 2023 so that we can recognize when we ourselves are in that reptilian brain, low vibration state, and when others are, and what we can do about it. So here's the deal. We cannot always control our first thought. When the woman behind me, the epic complainer of the ages, was complaining so loudly you could hear her all the way in the next terminal, my first thought was not a holy one. Often, we cannot control our first thought. We are all humans. Yes, I hope? Yes. However, we can choose to control our second one. And we can take action on our second one. This process is called first thought, first action. We have our first rather unholy thought, and if we can catch it early, we can move to the second thought where we choose peace, where we choose compassion, where we choose love, where we choose presence, or to be or to remain present, so that we can take the action, so that we can take an action based on that second thought. Are you following me? All right, now, what action might you take? I have a suggestion. Gather evidence of good. in the situation that you are in that moment, I invite you to gather evidence of good, of good. You know, there is an author by the name of James Clear. He wrote a book called Atomic Habits. And in that amazing book, he wrote, "Every action you take is a vote for the type of person you wish to become. No single instance will transform your beliefs, but as the votes build up, so does the evidence of your new identity." Every action you take is a vote for the type of person you wish to become. No single instance will transform your beliefs, but as the votes build up, so does the evidence of your new identity. Gather evidence for the good. When you are in a tricky situation, a difficult situation, an unexpected situation, look around and find the good, or as Mr. Rogers used to say, look for the helpers. Taking that a step further, decide you're going to be one of the helpers. You can't be one of the helpers and be in the low reptilian brain. They can't coexist. So I invite you this week to notice when you are gathering evidence for what is good and when you are gathering evidence for what is not good. And then just gently notice how that feels in your body. As we move into this new year, I invite you to begin this as a spiritual practice. In any given moment, when something is going on, whether it's in a relationship, whether it's a moment, wherever it is, am I gathering evidence for good here? Am I seeing what's good, or am I seeing what's not good? And notice that. You can shift this for yourself. And as you begin to do this, you begin to see more good in the difficult situations. What automatically happens is you become more grateful. Because when we live in the energy field of good, I could have told you that entire story without one negative thing, right? I wanted to illustrate the story and give you evidence for good and evidence for bad. Because it's difficult. There are difficult situations. But if we can constantly begin in our lives to notice where we are in the negative, where can we remember? Where can we remember this ancient wisdom? What you think, you become. So what are you thinking? What are you thinking? What are you gathering inside? Evidence of good or evidence of not good? Lynn Twist wrote, "What you appreciate, appreciates." Isn't that fantastic? What you appreciate, appreciates. She's a financial abundance teacher. What you appreciate, appreciates. So I invite you into this. They go hand in hand. And this is a spiritual practice, this idea of seeking out, gathering evidence for the good, and then allowing that to be felt in your body so that you can express more gratitude in your life. And when you express more gratitude in your life, what are you? You are free. It is directly connected. Gratitude in your body temple allows space and spaciousness for the freedom to be who you are, how you are, to accept others who they are and how they are. I want to personally invite you all. I have a visioning class coming up. It starts actually tomorrow night. And really, it's taking all of this and how we can, through spiritual practice, create a really beautiful opportunity to step into visioning for your life in 2023. I have a bit of a different take on it than the traditional class. I've updated it a great deal because I think there's enormous value in brainstorming and in the idea of visualization. And I want to marry that with the idea of visioning, co-creating with the divine. So for those of you who know what I'm talking about, I invite you into that. For those of you who don't, I invite you into that. The classes are recorded, so don't worry if you have to miss one. So I invite you to call in a beautiful 2023 for yourself. There is an opportunity here in the midst of all of it. First, choose your second thought and act on that one. Second, gather evidence of the good in whatever situation you find yourself in. It is always there, even when it is hidden. And 3, allow that gratitude to fill you up so that freedom, that is your birthright, can be fully felt. Sound good? All right, let's pray. Let's pray. Yeah. I invite the practitioners to come forward, please, and join me in prayer. Taking in a deep breath. What a blessing it is to know this one divine love that is this mystical glue that connects each one of us. No matter what, no matter how we are behaving, whether we are gathering evidence of good or bad or difficult or challenge or love, we're all connected. We're all connected on the seen and unseen sides of life by this one divine power called by so many names. This power, this love, this source lives at the center of our being and gives us, if we open to it, the strength to live into the experience of more love, to live into the experience of more good, to live into the experience of more freedom. What a blessing it is to know this. What a blessing it is to take this forth out into the world. And in this moment, I include all of our loved ones, wherever they may be, including them in this prayer, blessing them, surrounding them with this same love and grace. And in this next breath, I bless all people everywhere, those who gather in churches and mosques and ashrams and synagogues and temples and circles and airports, knowing that we are all one in this human family and that we are all connected in this oneness and in this love and in the very stardust that we share. I am so grateful for this connection to my human siblings. I am so grateful for this opportunity to be love in the world. Let us be love in this world. And so it is. Blessed be. Amen. Happy New Year, you all.
Thank you so much, Reverend Shannon. What deliciousness to chew on this week. This is our time for conscious giving. And, I was thinking about how we all have ways that we create this spiritual practice for ourselves. For me, every day when I balance my checkbook, whatever has come in, I pick up my phone and I text to give 10% on that to the center. That's my spiritual practice. Some of you, your spiritual practice is writing that check and mailing it in or putting it in the basket. Some of you have automatic giving set up, which you can do through our website at newthoughtcsl.org. But I invite all of us into this remembrance that this givingness, this appreciation is a spiritual practice, and it feeds us just as we give. And so whatever your gift is to give today, please know that it is received with so much gratitude and the utmost love. And I invite you to join me as we speak a word of blessing on that gift. From the love of pure spirit within me, I bless this gift. I send it forth to heal and bless and prosper. It does good work in the world and returns to me multiplied abundantly. And so it is. Blessed be. Brian Harris, let's have another song.
Daddy was a preacher, she was his wife, just trying to make the world a little better, shine a light. And people started talking to hear their own voice. Those people accused my father, said he made the wrong choice. And though it might be painful, you know time will always tell. Those people have long since gone, my father never failed. And even when the rain falls, even when the floods start rising, even when the storm comes, I am washed by the water. Even when the rain falls, even when the floods start rising, even when the storm comes, I am washed by the water. Even when the earth crumbles under my feet, even when the ones I love turn around and crucify me, I won't ever let you down. I won't fall, I won't fall, I won't fall as long as you're around me. 'Cause even when the rain falls, and even when the floods start rising, even when the storm comes, I am washed by the water. Even when the rain falls, even when the floods start rising, even when the storm comes, I'm washed by the water. Even when the rain falls, and even when the floods start rising, even when the storm comes, I am washed by the water. Even when the rain falls, even when the flood starts rising, even when the storm comes, I'm washed by the water. When the rain falls and the storm comes and the flood starts rising, I'm washed by the water.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Brian Harris, the New Thought Messengers. Wow. I have a couple of quick announcements for you. Reverend Shannon mentioned earlier about her amazing class that's starting tomorrow night. It's called Visioning for Your Life 2023. It begins tomorrow evening, January 9th, for 5 weeks. It's going to be 6:30 to 8:30 West Coast time and online only. Tuition is $175. There are partial scholarships available and a 2-payment payment plan if you're into that. You can register and find more information at our website, newthoughtcsl.org. What a beautiful and powerful way to start your year off with a foundation of stone beneath you. Absolutely beautiful. Thank you, Reverend Shannon. And I just wanted to mention that we have a stock of these books, 365 Science of Mind by Dr. Ernest Holmes, in our bookstore, both in person and online. So this is one of those beautiful books. It's a daily reader that very conveniently rewrites itself for you every single year. It's different. He's just a genius that way, Reverend Shannon. I don't know. Maybe it's because maybe I've learned a little something, and so I come to it new. I don't know. Thank you, Reverend Shannon.
All right, so I would like to invite all the practitioners forward. Please know that they will be here after service to pray with you. If there's anything on your heart, if there's anything that you would like support for, please stay after service. We will all exit quickly as we can, and this place turns into a beautiful time of meditation and prayer, and they will pray with you. Those of you online, we have beautiful practitioners online for you. All the information's in the chat box there. You can go into a private room and pray with them in a breakout room. I want to thank all of you who are here in person. You create all of this energy that we get to share together. Thank you. And those of you online, thank you so much. Those of you watching from Southern California, Florida, Colorado, Arizona, Mexico, Germany, Oregon, Washington, and Nevada, thank you for being with us. We love you so very much. Miss Shelley Walker, please come on down for our closing blessing. I invite you all to stand as you are able. And again, you can sign up for my class right out here in the lobby or online. I look forward to seeing you tomorrow. Until then, may you go in the light, as the light, and with the light until we meet again. May the longtime sun shine upon you, all love surround you, and the pure light within you guide you on your way. You are so loved. I love you. Mwah. Have a good week.
I release and I let go. I let the Spirit run my life and my heart.